Coca paste is the semi-processed form of cocaine that you can make on a farm using very basic chemicals, gasoline, cement, sulfuric acid, ammonia, a few other nasty things. Because you can turn this into a kilo of coca paste, less than a kilo, a couple of acres down, to this little bundle. And with that, you can throw it into a backpack. You can walk to the nearest village and sell it. You can go on horseback or even bicycle or motorcycle if you have a dirt path. Very often there aren't. But instead, we've been demanding that these farmers grow thousands or hundreds of kilos of fruits and vegetables to transport on vehicles they don't have, over roads that quite literally don't exist, to sell in markets, both domestic and export, they can't get access to, and even if they could, to compete against an international global economy. Very often agribusiness imports, subsidized by our tax dollars, and often forced down these countries through free trade agreements, against which these peasant farmers don't stand much of a chance. And we spray a very powerful broad-spectrum herbicide called Roundup. You can buy a very diluted form of it in your hardware store called Roundup. Well, that's what you buy is Roundup, but we're spraying Roundup Ultra and even more concentrated versions of this. But that bottle you buy in your hardware store comes with a spray applicator and a big warning labels on it, and it tells you to spray the one weed you're trying to kill. We're dumping this stuff by air over vast expanses. This is a ground view of what a coca bush looks like, and you can see they leave other trees standing, and they don't need to, it's not mechanized. This is a kid I ran across who is picking coca leaf. This is very early in the morning, and he was doing it to earn money for school books and school uniform. It costs money to go to school. It's not a lot of money, but it's cost prohibitive for a lot of these people. And so he picks for about 4 hours every morning before it gets really hot, and that gives him enough money to go to school. This is a coca lab where the coca paste is made, and you'll see it in shoveling water. It's a simple shack. You could build it, most of you, with pocket change. And it's the least effective means of stopping cocaine. But if you look at the State Department press releases, they always brag about how many cocaine laboratories they destroyed. This is what they're talking about. The real laboratories that the cartels have are deeply hidden in the jungle. I've never been to one. People who do go very often don't come back. It's not a place you want to stick your nose into. But those are the real laboratories. Unfortunately, they're called kitchens in the local slang, so it's very misleading. If you were a farmer, what would you rather be transporting in this situation? A kilo of paste or hundreds of kilos of fruits and vegetables? This is a major road, by the way. This is in the province of Guaviare, Colombia, which is one of the southern Amazonic provinces. They've been fumigated since 1994. This was the test ground for Plan Colombia and the fumigation campaign. So we've been constantly hammering them. They've received not a dime of USAID alternative development money. So it's been all hammer and no carrot in this particular case. This is right outside the capital of the province, San Jose del Guaviare. And if you go south into that province, the rest of the province basically, you have to go through this road. And so there are thousands and thousands of families on the other side of that. And if they want to export any of their products to the rest of Colombia or overseas, they have to deal with these kinds of logistics. And if you're a lucky farmer, you might have a farm somewhere near this so-called road. Most of them aren't lucky, and they're several kilometers away, and so we're talking about dirt paths. So imagine hauling all those pineapples or hearts of palm or whatever over perhaps even rivers or creeks. You have to hope that you have enough money to pay the boatman, and he'll take you across. You get to the nearest road. You hope you have enough money, and a truck might come by with some space that will take you to the nearest village. And you got to hope that your neighbors didn't all grow the same thing and show up with pineapples as well, in which case you're just selling pineapples to each other. It's not. These are the mercenaries, the private military contractors that fly our spray planes. Very often they're former U.S. military or third country military. And this is what they claim to be doing under Plan Colombia, which is spraying, precision spraying of herbicides. And this is not Kansas, however. We're talking about very hilly terrain, lots of guerrilla gunfire, trying to shoot down these planes. Also trees that are left standing, because why not, if they produce bananas or whatever. And so these planes fly much higher than they're supposed to, partly to avoid ground fire. This pilot is pointing at bullet holes that have been patched in his plane by the guerrillas. And it requires helicopter gunships to escort these spray planes as well. This was also a big ticket item under Plan Colombia. And so you can see they're flying at much higher altitude than is recommended. But as a result of this, about 10 seconds after this plane leaves the field of vision here, that stream of spray, I used to think of it as rain, but when you see it firsthand, it actually turns into a giant gas cloud. And it hangs in the air, and the crosswinds will pick it up and move it around, and it destroys lots of other things. This is an overhead shot of a spray plane going over a campesino's house. You can see the rows of young coca seedlings that are being planted there, and the trees are, of course, left there. And that's the shack they live under. This is illegal under Colombian law to spray over a house like that, but it happens all the time.